This is Literature for 247. My name is Folan Oyelekon, and this video is about an African novel titled Redemption Road. The novel is written by Elma Shaw. We've earlier discussed the plot summary, the character analysis, and chapters 1 to 16 of this novel on this platform. If you need the link to any of those videos, just make your request through the comment section, and it will be sent to you. Redemption Road by Elma Shaw, chapter 17. In the last chapter, we discussed the kidnap of Bendu by Moses Vani, also known as Commander Cobra. Bendu was able to escape from him, and let's see what happens after. Bendu's eye has swollen so much that it almost blocked her view. She almost lost consciousness as a result of loss of blood from the wound on her head. When she reaches Calvin's place, she bangs on the gate and collapses. She then sees a flashlight pointing towards her direction through the slit by the hinges. That is the hinges of the gate of the house. The guard peeps through the peephole to see who is there. The man doesn't see her, but recognizes her with her voice and opens the gate immediately. The guard is shocked and helps Bendu to her feet. He runs to his booth to bring a piece of paper for her to fill. Bendu, who is reading in pain, feels amused and crying simultaneously. Bendu feels amused because of the man that runs to his booth to bring a piece of paper for her to fill. So somebody that is already wounded, you now expect her to fill any paper. Calvin comes out and is surprised to see Bendu with blood on her face and clothes. He asks Bendu what happened. She explains that he vanished and he left him on the beach. Calvin now dresses in a t-shirt and jeans. He places a towel on the pillow on the sofa and tells Bendu to sleep on it. Bendu sees the gun stock on Calvin's waist and pleads with him not to cause trouble. Calvin notices that Bendu's head is still bleeding and says she needs to be rushed to St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. Calvin carries her into his Land Cruiser and drives to the hospital. She explains that Vanny got into a taxi with her. On the way to the hospital, she informs Calvin of the break into her apartment and what happened afterward. In response to Calvin's questions, Bendu says she knocked him out on the beach. She says further that the taxi driver is likely to be part of the plot and the vehicle didn't have the license plate number. She tells him that the car key is with her. Calvin gives her kudos for this and says he will call the police. The owner of the car can easily be identified with the car in their possession. Bendu tells Calvin to call Seattle to bring clothes for her. Bendu is attended to in the hospital. Her head needs to be stitched. Bendu trembles as she faints all of a sudden, but not sure of the cause. Vanny threatens to tell the people about Bendu's crime. This frightens Bendu more than facing Vanny on the beach. She prefers to narrate her story herself. Dr. Wama comes over and tells Bendu that she will be admitted in the hospital at least for a few hours. Bendu is now admitted in a private room taking drips. Seattle and Terence arrive at the hospital, and Terence threatens to deal with Vanny. Seattle embraces her sister and says she will come and stay with them in Mamba Point, as the security there is better. She convinces Bendu further that her house is not safe and she's in danger until Vanny is arrested. Seattle wonders how Vanny knew Bendu's house. Bendu responds that he could have asked someone since the town is small. Terence guesses that Vanny might be following her and promises to get in and says he has security forces at his disposal. Calvin goes out to make a call while Seattle and Terence look over Bendu. Bendu frowns and thinks of the reaction of the duo if she tells them what she did in Duluma. When When Shiata sees the look on Bendu's face, she asks whether they should leave. Bendu tells them not to, that she wants to talk to them. Calvin returns with a puzzled look, and Teran asks him what the problem is. Calvin explains that Lieutenant Tappel, whom he called to report the matter to his boy, said the car is no more at the place. Shiata says maybe they have the spare keys. Bendu says maybe they went in the wrong direction, while Teran says the boys might not understand. A nurse comes to check on Bendu as he asks the nurse when she will be discharged. The nurse replies that she needs rest. Bendu says she's restless and will not sleep until it's time to go to work. She explains to Shiata that she can't afford to miss a day of work. Calvin says the whole fault is his for leaving everything in the hands of Bendu. They disagree on the issue when Bendu wishes to do it the right way and Calvin wanted it done his way. Bendu adds that she doesn't want to be part of the broken system. Shiata corroborates it that the system is broken beyond repair, with her experience since she came home. Bendu says there is hope. Things cannot continue like that, and they have to start somewhere. Terence wants Bendu to be careful that Vane is dangerous. Shiata asks Bendu if she wouldn't have been killed by Vane if he didn't escape. Bendu replies that Vane is unpredictable. She explains that Vane wants her to drop the charges against him in response to Calvin's question. Terence advises her to drop it if that will bring peace to her life. Bendu explains that she thought of dropping the charges, but not to get him off her back because she's the one on his back in the case. She explains further that Vane threatened to reveal what she did in Duluma. Shiata, who is alarmed, asks Bendu what she did in Duluma. Bendu looks around at the people surrounding her and prepares her mind for the narrative. Now, chapter 18, this is where Bendu narrates what she did while at Duluma camp. This chapter is about Duluma camp and Bendu's experiences in the camp as narrated by her to Calvin and her family. She is forcefully enrolled into the Women Auxiliary, the group that trains for combat in case their services are needed at the battlefront. She wakes up very early every morning to draw water from the well and perform other house chores. She afterward dresses up in the fighter uniform for drills. Bendu didn't like wearing the uniform but took consolation in the fact that she was trained to protect herself. Aside from the rigors of the drill, Bendu also received a thorough beating from Samson for a little mistake. If she was not in the house when he arrived, it was a serious offense. She says the punishment was always worse when Samson was off drugs or drunk. The only time she was at peace was when Samson went to fight in the bush and didn't come back. She was free those nights to interact with the women, who worked as rebel wives, fighters, and cooks, listening to witchcraft stories and making fun. Among the women were Anna and Oretha, Maramusu's daughters, who were also rebel wives. Anna was the elder and the leader in the Women's Auxiliary. She had the respect of all men because of her bravery. She was the wife of Joseph Davis, a fighter who took her to Cobra when she arrived at the camp. Oretha was a gentle young woman, and her husband was a young general who was severely wounded during fighting. He was then sent to the main base for treatment. This made her lonely, hence she spent time with the little children as their teacher. Ben tells her family that all the women love her but fight for her because of the notoriety of Samson, her husband. She told them that she became a hero the first night she spent with Samson when she caught his eyes. She was then nicknamed Lieutenant TKO. She says she learned how to live harmoniously with Samson with the help of the women in the camp. They always alerted her whenever Samson was coming, so that she would rush back home and pretend to be busy. To satisfy him, They taught her how to prepare some traditional delicacies like giba from cassava, which goes with a slippery soup. Bendu said they always have food and even give to others. The women were also cooperative, like she had never seen before. She, however, says despite the friendly atmosphere among the people, the sad experiences outweighed the good ones. Food was scarce, and there was frequent domestic violence. Commander Cobra and his people would discipline their fighters, gang rape women, and torture the prisoners of war. The prisoners are dealt with in the burned-out concrete building known as the Oven. The buildings were used as classrooms before the war, but the building was filled with the villagers and set ablaze by Cobra and his people. That is wickedness. She wiped tears off her face here as she remembers cousin Orlando, who was taken away as a prisoner of war. Bendu explains that by the middle of her 4th month in the camp, she was so exhausted that she felt dizzy. She was one morning referred to Mamuzu, the resident traditional healer, when she fainted during combat training. The old man asked her several questions and then asked her the last time she had a period. This made Bendu curious and ran to her room. She checked the date marked on the calendar when Samson assaulted her. She eventually discovered that she was pregnant. She says she felt as if she swallowed poison that would kill her if not vomited. She was praying for a miscarriage and even took part in the combat training drills, hoping the baby would be forced out. Mamusu informed her one day that she was 8 weeks pregnant and asked her if she wanted her to abort it for her, but Bendu feared abortion. At the end of the first 3 months, the pregnancy became conspicuous. She first told her friend and then Samson. Samson was annoyed with her as if she was responsible for the pregnancy. He beat her but didn't fight back. Despite that, the baby sat in her womb. Samson left the camp when the pregnancy was 6 months. Cobra avoided Bendu when Samson left, but he sent a message to her one day to vacate the house for another high-ranking rebel fighter. Bendu ignored this order. Despite the people's fears and advice, she became stronger and more determined as the delivery period drew nearer. In the absence of Samson, Bendu entertained fears of the materials she would need and the medication. She also thought of the pains of delivery. She was pessimistic about the whole issue. Fortunately for her, she had an itch-free delivery. The baby girl was delivered easily. The woman presented her with some dresses in fairly good condition to her. Bendu was not happy because what happened was a violation of her human rights and her freedom. Bendu refused to nurse the baby, and Mamusu gave the baby to a woman who just had a stillbirth. Bendu packed a bag of things on the night of the 14th day of the birth and attached a note to it for Anna and Oretha. She then walks away from the camp with pains in her heart and the clothes on her back. Bendu closes her eyes after she finishes narrating the story. It's done, and she looked round at the faces of the people around her. She thinks of their thoughts after the narrative. She wonders whether Calvin will leave her for abandoning a baby in the camp. She thinks often of the baby girl, Bebe Girl, whom she didn't bother to give a proper name. That's what the baby was called, Bebe Girl. That is the donation of the Liberians. The girl will be 9 years old now if she had not died of diseases, malnutrition, or bullets. She appreciates the effort of people like Agnes, who take care of abandoned and lost children. The room is silent for a while. Terran just moves his body, and Seattle takes tissue from her bag. Gavin, who is emotional, suddenly stands up and leaves the room. So that is chapters 17 and 18. Please, if you are just joining us, try and click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so that if you're part of this class, you're going to be notified whenever any video is produced. Like this video, you are free to share any of our videos on any social media platform. Invite your friends to join us. Teachers in the house, please introduce your students to this platform. If you have any question, send it to the comment section and it will be attended to. Thank you. I wish you best of luck. Let's meet in the next class.